Good morning. Welcome to these beautiful, soulful Sunday talks. I know it's very early morning for a lot of people and very late night for Brenna, I think, who's joining from California. Right, Brenna?
Right. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for joining in. Yes, Vinita, what are we talking on?
We are actually continuing our talks for last, the Navratras that we started because as you've also told us that the feminine energies are really, really showering and very, very strong these days. And we've also been getting a lot of messages from people who've been saying that they've been attending the, your 9 days Navratra thing, and they have been really feeling very uplifted and motivated, and we're taking the inspiration from there itself and continuing the experiencing the Shakti energies, as we call it. So it's the divine feminine aspect of that energy that binds the earth together. And in a usual language, we also say that women are blessed with different kind of intuition, the power, the sensitivity, and emotional strength of a different kind. So here we are also actually tapping into this energy that helps us to heal ourselves, pass on that love and energy to the family, and also develop our intuition. Didi, I already have one question from somebody who's asking us that how can we develop our intuition? Because I think in the messages you had written about the intuition. So maybe while you're talking, we could put some light on this intuition aspect as well.
Okay.
So, and relationship also.
Okay. Yeah, so to be in continuation with what we were speaking last week, and actually that being a continuation of the 9 days Navratra, the 9 days Navratra meditations and clearing that we had. My main focus, if we really bring it down to this grassroots level, is to say that we all have that power within us. It doesn't have to be intuitive, you don't have to be specifically intuitive, but yes, we can develop that intuitive skill also, and I will definitely guide you into that. But what I really want to emphasize, and what we even came to at the end of last week's conversation, was that, you all have that power within you. If you remember, we started with an example that I gave that, when something, you might be feeling very weak and vulnerable, but when something happens to a very, very close one, say a child or, a loved one who you need support, suddenly there'll be a power that will come within you and you'll know how to act, what to do, forgetting your own victimized state or your own need for help. And we've all experienced this at various times. So what I'm trying to say is that we should always tap into that strength in a normal way also. We don't need to fall into a space of feeling victimized or, beaten down by life situations or circumstances. Also, I want to emphasize here that I don't, when I talk about the women Shakti, or we're talking about, it's not really about the gender, it's not about the gender. It's just that at some point, some of the people who connect to us or are present here, due to conditioning, due to the life circumstances, due to whatever upbringing, and by well-meaning parents and all, somehow have got caught in that phase where they are more vulnerable, or they are, they've not ever had the opportunity or the platform to speak up for themselves. And again, when I make it very clear, when I say speak up for yourself, it does not mean that you need to be rebellious or walking out of relationships or anything like that. It is only to understand that whether it is any form of physical healing, whether it is any form of a, like a emotional discomfort that you're experiencing, or it is a mental imbalance that you're experiencing due to whatever might be your life circumstances, you have that ability within you to heal yourself, to really connect to yourself and connect to that power within you. Usually we say that, oh, I don't think I can do this on my own, or I need some kind of support. Actually, initially we feel we don't have it in us to do that. Most of us have a very low self-esteem and a very, very low self-confidence level. And so we don't really feel that that strength exists anywhere in us. It's always about somebody outside looking up at somebody or looking up to somebody, and you feel that the power lies outside. But that's really not true. That's really not true. And what I was emphasizing through the Navratras, which I'm carrying on today, is that, that presence, that godly presence when we are praying, when we have that high vibration all around, that gives us a little easier platform, if I may say, to connect to and to, grow into, to do whatever we want to sort of work on in our lives. And today, like morning, when I just got up and I realized it was Sharad Purnima, which is a very, very powerful, all these energies we now need to use to add to our, add to our strengths, because it's like the atmosphere or the situation around is such where if you take little steps to move ahead, the energy around will definitely help you and enhance, that enhanced atmosphere or platform will be provided for you to step ahead. But you have to take the first step. That's very, very important to understand. You need to take that first step to heal yourself. I give this example all the time in my talks, that someone comes to me, even say for an SRT clearing, or you go to a doctor for a illness that you're struggling with, physical or mental. We might reach to the right diagnosis. We might even find the right medicine. Someone can even take that medicine for you and put it in your mouth. But who has to swallow? You have to swallow it. Without that, it has no effect, isn't it? So that point where you're feeling, can I do it? Can I not do it? For anything, for anything. Just trust yourself and give yourself that little push. Just give yourself that little push. I even say on the Reiki group, if you're really feeling that, oh, I'm not able to do my Reiki, I'm just not able to help myself, just pause for a minute, right on the Reiki group. And suddenly you'll see how many messages will come to you which will tell you, okay, come on, you have this, so it's just a motivation, it's just a mindset that we need to shift. The energies are all around within you and all around outside of you, so you just need to connect to them and get in alignment with them. Another thing that I really realized through these past 2 months of healing and clearing that I have been doing, and we did a couple of really powerful group clearings, which I will again do in November. And whether it was for your finances, whether it was for your relationships, whether it was for your career, whether it was for your health, all that was actually needed was to come in alignment with the source. And once you're in alignment with the source, the rest just happens. The rest just happens. So how do we come in alignment with the source would probably be the next question. So to come in alignment with the source, all we need to do is to just drop everything, especially the meditation that we ended with last time. No past, no future. All the troubles only come when we are engaged in something of the past or something of the future. So all you need to do is to just come into the present moment. And if there are thoughts which are coming, which are maybe of the past or the future, just take a moment to disengage yourself. I know it's not easy. I know by default the mind goes into the fear realm or the lower chakras issues, as we talk about. The mind invariably pulls us there. But if you just take that little pause, just take that little pause, and you'll see how easy it will be for you to step out of it. Just reflect on what is it that you really want to do. What is it that you really want to put your energy on? And instantly you will feel that you will be shown the path. You will be shown the path which will always be in alignment. Trust that path and follow it, even if it is seeming challenging. That is what your intuition is telling you. And you may feel, a part of you, your mind will say, but you can't do this. You've never done this. How can you do this? But it's only things that you have never done that you need courage to do. What you have done is very easy and you always, do it. I was teaching the Osho Zen Tarot in the last 2 days, and a lot of people said that this tarot deck nobody uses. Everybody uses the Rider Waite. So I said, yeah, that's the more simpler one and the more predictive one, which is just very analytical. Uh, but this will help you to develop your intuition, because there's no description. You just need to look at it and see what comes to you. What is the message? What is a thought, a flash, whatever comes to you, trust that is your intuition. Just to answer the question on intuition, Vinita, whoever asked this,
Ji.
the first response, the first thought, the first image, the first vision that comes to you is coming from your intuition. That is the gut feeling, isn't it? That is the gut feeling. But what do we usually do? We try to dissect it. But how can this happen? Will this happen? This has some. That means the mind has now rushed in. And it just takes a second. The thought will come in a second, and within a second, all the fears, reactions will come. So don't dissect it. Just trust that first thought. I'll see what happens. I'll go into it. So that's about really trusting yourself and what your intuition, that sixth sense is telling you. And that is always something which will be in alignment to your source. So just trust that. What happens is that you just, and how do you develop that is that you just have to learn to take a little pause, just be a little, just be, give it a thought. Don't dissect it, but just give it a thought. And the reason that you're not doing it is because you've never done it before. But now if it is asking you to move in a particular way which is out of the ordinary, then yes, you need to reflect on it and take the plunge. That's what will guide you ahead, isn't it? So that's that gut feeling, that first thought that that comes into you, and then later you feel, oh, but I realized this is what I was told, but somehow I felt this is not the right way, so I followed the other path, isn't it? But of course, at that moment, you're meant to follow the other path, so you don't have to beat yourself up. But this just tells you, next time, trust that gut feeling. Trust what you're hearing from inside. Don't sit and dissect it and try to go into the conclusion of it before you even start it. Take it one step at a time. Don't think that you start looking there, I have to climb up 10 steps, how will I reach? Just look at one step, and before you know it, you'll be there. Does
Can
that
I
make
say
sense?
something here?
Please.
Absolutely. You've been doing tarot, monthly tarot, and everything. Amazing intuition, or I always feel for months now that for each one of us in the family, it just falls so bang on. And I actually wonder, I mean, how can this become so personalized?
Mm,
It's sometimes so magical, every month, and then you go back and read a color. What does that guidance say? And I think it's that trust. And as I'm sure you're saying, it is like you have to trust your intuition, the first thought. It's beautiful.
absolutely. And see, all these things that we do, tarot is also, it's not something which can be taken so lightly. And I'm not saying that you have to go into it, because sometimes it does come in to be a little, say, like a little warning, or a little sort of not in favor of what you would ideally want it to be. So you don't have to take it in that sense also, though I always try in my writings not to make it fear based at all. So even if something is there which is like a warning, is okay to reflect on, and instantly with your own awareness you can get out of it. You don't have to believe it that it is going to empower you and it's going to be a bad month or a bad week. That's not true. You have a greater power within you to overcome that. That okay, it's going to be challenging. Don't we all face challenges? Who says that all 24 hours or 7 days of the week or 12 months are just so nice and smooth? No, there are ups and downs. And even though we are not really predicting, but we can sense the energy. That is the whole skill of the tarot, that we sense the energy. And since we are asking for the month, we just sense the energy in a way where we would say that just let the, just be a little careful when you drive, or be a little careful to whom you lend money, just from the point of that the stars or the energies around are not favoring or are showing some kind of a loss for you. So it just comes up across like that. And one doesn't have to get into fear and just withdraw. It's like, I'm not going to step out because it's very stormy outside. The storm could just, the roof could just fall sitting inside. So that doesn't mean that you need to step away from anything, but you need to have that awareness to say, okay, so it's going to be a little stormy, but I'm going to get over this because I have that ability within me. And actually be in gratitude that in some way you've been warned, so you may be a little more vigilant in what you're doing. Like sometimes when I remember, um, I mean, I used to walk very fast. So the moment I step out of my room, it's like I want to run down the stairs. But now Now I take a little pause because I know, like, I'm not what I was 15 years back. So it's like, okay, just you have that thing inside you which says, okay, stop, slow down, because you could miss a step or something like that. It just comes, the thought just comes, and you just take that pause, and instantly you begin to go in that way. So that is also a Shakti within you that is telling you, isn't it? That's also a higher consciousness, the God consciousness that we feel within us, which is telling you that, isn't it? It's all within you that is telling you how to connect to it, how to move ahead in life from that aspect. Does that make sense?
So trust is the most important thing.
Trusting yourself is the most important thing. And we say that other people don't trust us. That is something which I always like to say, that it's very easy for us to point the finger outward and say that other people are not trusting us, but am I trusting myself? If I walk with confidence, with my head held high, that it's okay, I mean, whatever will come, I'll face it and brave my way through it, then nobody will doubt whatever decisions are coming to me. But if you do the same, then nobody will doubt you also. Everybody will have full trust in what you are saying, isn't it? So what is it that you have to trust? You have to trust that power, that wisdom, that energy within you. That is what you have to trust and actually seek out. Actually seek out. Today morning, there was a discourse that I was listening to, and it was just one statement that they said was that let us just understand that not a single leaf also moves because of us, cutting out the ego, cutting out the I, right? And we all say this when we are in religious discourses or sitting in temples and here and there, where we say, yeah, we are not doing anything. But actually, the thing is, if we just believe that we are actually not doing anything, I mean, you're not even breathing yourself, and you just surrender to that higher energy, which is equally within you as outside, because ultimately we have to come into an understanding that this is all just one big consciousness. Even when we meet somebody, it's like how our Guruji Muji Baba says, it's consciousness hugging consciousness. Someone could be at a higher consciousness, someone could be at a lower consciousness. The one at the lower today may be higher tomorrow. So there's nothing, it's all just a extension or an expression of consciousness in different ways. So if we believe that so strongly, and we know that everything is happening with the power of a higher consciousness, what is it that we have control over? We have control over nothing, right? But to be able to operate and live from that higher consciousness, we always have a choice. Living from fear or living from love, living from contraction or living from expansion. And that's what we need to connect to and live with. So do we have a question, Vinita? Unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry. No, so it's not exactly a question, but it is a request that has come that you haven't talked about, living with the expansion or living with contraction. While this, I was reading this question and I was wondering, it is so right. We'd been talking about it when we started it, right at the beginning, and it's been a while that if we could talk about it, maybe sometime,
Yeah,
later.
but it is not different from this. Living with expansion is living with the Shakti within you, living with the energy within you, isn't it? And when you live from an expanded space, then you're always in alignment with the source, with the higher power, isn't it? What does living in expansion mean? That whatever I'm doing, am I coming from a space of love? Am I coming from a space of fear? What I'm doing, is it going to make somebody happy? Is it going to make the other person sad? When I say the next thing, is it going to be welcomed by the other person? Will it help the other person to feel good, to grow, to expand? They're all synonyms, isn't it? Will it make the other person, will it empower the other person, or will it make them shrink back and feel helpless? And same for me. If what I'm doing, what I'm thinking of doing or going into, will it empower me? If it is empowering, it is definitely coming from an expanded space. What does expanded space mean? Expanded space means that I'm not constricted or confined with my own beliefs and structures and wanting to live in a very confined way, with a very definitive definition of my life and how I do things. If I break those beliefs and I say I step out and I really expand my energy and step out, without any fear, without any inhibitions, and move ahead, knowing that I will be supported at every step. The universe will support me, whether it is through a teacher, a mentor, a child, a parent, a partner, that is irrelevant. But if I decide to live in an expanded space, from an expanded space, or from a higher consciousness, I will be fully, fully supported. And that I say for each one of you. You have to say the yes in your heart, and you will see how you will get the support from all around. And it may not be easy initially. It may not be easy initially. The situation, the circumstances around may be absolutely not in your favor. But if you have that yes truly in your heart and you are in alignment, then very soon you will see that you'll be able to find your way through, because it is all there. The things are already there. When somebody asks a question, what is going to happen, whatever is going to happen is already there. That's what the whole theory says, that it is already existing in some plane, some realm. It is already true. We just have to tune in or connect to that vibration to make it true for us in this three-dimensional body. And now really, when we are working, when we are talking, when we are living from this space, we're not talking about fixing things from the third dimensional aspect. That is really what I want to say in connecting to your inner strength. We just finished this class on the rebirthing consciousness program also. And the main aim of helping, supporting, guiding, talking to anybody now is that don't get caught in trying to fix one thing or fix the other thing and fix the third thing, because you're really coming from the lower chakras. I'm feeling fearful. Okay, let us just heal the fear. It's okay, we'll heal that. But when you come to that higher, if you work on putting that energy to raise yourself to a higher vibration, automatically the fear will disappear. That means you're going to be putting in less effort, but what you're going to be receiving is going to be so much more than just fixing that one thing that you're working towards. Like if Vinita said in the beginning that somebody is asking even about relationships, how to live from the higher space. And I think, Vani, I haven't been able to read your full question, but if you could just read it out to me, I think it is on the same lines of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, hi. So I
Hi.
was like, what you were saying. So I wanted to know, so what is the difference between manifesting something or just accepting what is destined for you?
Okay. So see, even when the manifestation is happening, we are so much in alignment with that thing that we want in our life, right? And what do we say in manifestation? Visualize that you are there, feel how you will feel when you get that, isn't it? Isn't that manifesting? Visualize it has already happened. So you're already on that plane where it has already happened, isn't it? And again, the reason that you're manifesting it or you're putting so much energy into that manifestation is because it is already in line with your destiny. It's supposed to happen in that way, or you're supposed to learn some lessons, and it really isn't manifesting in the way that you really want it to manifest because it is not in your destiny. But the act of manifestation is just like doing anything else, eating, sleeping. It's just another form of or a kind of a modality that you're doing. That is all. But you're doing it with so much positivity, with so much trust, so much belief, that invariably it is in alignment with your energy. And like sometimes even people say that we changed our destiny. I was not meant to be a doctor. I was meant to go to, say, law school, but something forced me to change, or some changes happened, and I wanted to be a doctor, so I pushed myself out of law school and I became a doctor. No, that was meant to be. Yes, the I did whatever guidance I was given in this body in this lifetime, but the plan is a bigger one. It is not just that I scrapped that and I became a doctor. That's not true at all. And living from that space of understanding that that is your destiny, that is your higher consciousness pushing you out of one and pushing you to make another choice. which the world might tell you you're foolish to be doing it at this point or whatever, but you're so much in alignment with that that you will see that it'll fall into your path. So manifestation is a total doing thing, isn't it? It's a total doing thing, which is fine to do. But then whatever you are doing, just do that. When I was, I spoke about this because I was talking about the third dimension and the fifth dimension. When you do it from a space of unconditional love and full trust that this will happen in the way that this will happen in my life. And God forbid if it doesn't happen, you're already in that high vibration where you understand that it's okay, it was not meant to happen, but you may be a little disappointed, but that doesn't mean that that you make it a part of your life in this way that your life comes to a halt. That is something that we cannot allow. So living from a space of expansion is looking at more opportunities, more avenues, and not just being confined to the way the thoughts that you have in your mind. And when we are in the third dimension, we always feel these lower emotions, fear, anxiety, restlessness. We feel it in our energy, disappointed, discouraged. We feel aggressive. There's anger, there's hate. All those lower chakra emotions are very, very strong, and we somehow want to fix things. Why are we wanting to fix those things? Because we don't want to feel these. We don't want to feel like a failure. We don't want to feel disappointed. We don't want to feel angry, isn't it? The focus is to achieve, but that achievement is also going to fulfill some greater emotions that you don't want to be in, isn't it? So we are focusing on just trying to fix that. Whereas if we put all that energy that we're trying to fix there and change these emotions, if we shift that energy into coming into an expanded space and trusting and saying, okay, this is what I want to work on, and this is how I would like my life to be, and I'm just in full trust, and I go about doing whatever I need to do. And then you suddenly realize that, wow, I just wished for it and it just happened. So many times it happens because we are not so attached to the outcome of it. We're not really so attached to the outcome of it. We put it out there and we just live with that trust that, okay, if it is meant to happen, it'll happen. Actually, we don't even do that. It's that we have full trust that it'll happen. How, when, what is not our business. That's the trust that we need to have. That's the trust that, and sometimes we get so desperate because, the situation may demand you to be, and that's also fine. But then don't take that again as as an attachment to your failure or disappointment or your relationship, because that's really not true.
I think
Divine
sometimes,
timing.
when we are more casual about things, we manifest it. And sometimes when we are very desperate about it, I think then, we just push it away rather than manifesting it.
So see, casual is what? Casual is that we are coming from a space of deeper trust, right? Desperate is when we are coming from fear. Oh, this has to happen. The ego is saying, I have to make this happen. Otherwise, what will people think of me? What will my life be? That's the ego speaking, isn't it? Casual is, I have full trust. Yeah, it'll happen whenever it's meant to happen. That's a casual attitude, but that's a deeper trust. That's not your ego speaking, isn't it? Yes, you could be using the same statements that from an egoic space. You might be speaking it with fear from inside. That if it is meant to, I'm very sure that it'll happen, and internally you're saying, oh God, I hope it happens. I hope it happens. That's a vibration you're carrying inside, versus going about your life with full trust. Yeah, it'll happen when it's meant to happen. And then you realize, and that's the whole, this 7-week program, so many of you who attended, it's like we write our intents in the beginning of the first week, like actually week 0 that we call. And by the time we come to the 6 or the 7 weeks, we realize we're living so beautifully. Why are we basing our joy and happiness on just these few intents being manifested in my life, being fulfilled? The moment that 10 intents are manifested, you're looking on something else and something else. It's like a bottomless pit. So all the time you're just working on that, whereas you just say, okay, this is what I want. And again, what I want as in not the things. In the third dimension, we are writing it down in terms of the things that we want. In the fifth dimension, we are working on, if I get those things, how would I feel? I work with that feeling. I work with that emotion. I work with that vibration. I work with that frequency. I want to feel joyous and peaceful in my life. I want to be always in joy and peace. And I think my joy will come with these 10 intents. No, your joy will not come with these 10 intents. Your joy could come through a totally different way. So leave it to that. Leave it to the universe to give you that joy and peace and happiness, and attach yourself to this vibration of joy, peace, and happiness rather than this list of 10 things which you think is going to give you this. Because if they don't happen, your joy is totally, based on these things manifesting in your life. Live with joy, peace, and happiness. Work towards joy, peace, and happiness. Make those your intents. How it will happen, when it will happen, who will bring that joy in, is not your business. That's living from the expanded space, from the fifth dimension, as I say. So grow into that and operate on every level from that. Yeah, Vani, does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot of sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
God, whatever you say makes so much of sense, and I often tell you, and your voice resonates in my mind and heart when I'm caught into some of those vulnerable things. And while I did this inner child healing also with you, last year I think, or the year
Yeah.
before. So I remember, as we would write our whatever we want, the manifesting list of what we want, and the list would go on. And genuinely, after fourth, fifth week, I realized I don't think so. It's absolutely fine. It's just a matter of how we started looking at the sense of gratitude and possibly changing from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, as you'd been talking about. So I think it's about gratitude is what I've learned. When you do, things change completely.
So see, gratitude is a way, it's like again a simple way to live in a high vibration. If you remember the initial talk that we started this session with, the Body Mind Connect, right? And I gave you that example of David Hawkins, who had written a book called Power versus Force, right? So do we want to use the force, or do we want to connect to the power that we have within us? I'm so surprised how this is just suddenly, the whole talk has turned around it in this way, and we come back to that power versus connecting to that power versus connecting or working with that force. And to many of us, power and force may seem the same, but they're actually not the same. Even if you see the definition in physics, I remember it is not the same. So David Hawkins, for those of you who are not aware of it, he had given us an emotional guidance scale from say 0 to 1,000. And he said that on the scale, this is like a frequency, and emotional guidance scale, the frequency, as the frequency or the vibrations keep, rising, your emotions keep rising. So just to give you an example, if the cells in your body are vibrating at a frequency of 0, that means there is no prana, there is no life, isn't it? We know that we are all made up of these atoms and molecules, and all of them are vibrating in our body. So if the cells are vibrating at a frequency of 0, that means that we are dead. And then if the vibration comes to say 10, 20, it's like living with depression, guilt, shame, because you feel I'm as good as dead, isn't it? When you feel extremely guilty, when you feel extremely shameful, it's as good as feeling dead. Then you move slightly higher to the little higher emotions of, say, living in fear, living in hate, living in jealousy, living in anger. And as you keep moving up, the intensity of this negative vibrations becomes lesser and lesser. So you move from being dead, being depressed, guilt, fear, grief, sadness, to anger, hate, discouragement, frustration, irritation. And then when you come to the emotion of the frequency of 500, which is like the middle, it says love. And when you start moving above 500, then you feel all these positive vibrations, which is joy, appreciation, gratitude. And he said that the highest we can feel in a physical body is a frequency of 720, which is always living in appreciation and gratitude. No matter what may happen, we're always in gratitude and appreciation. So really living in what we even say, full shukrana for everything. And he went on to even saying that if we reach a vibration of 1,000, if we can make the cells in our body vibrate at a level of 1,000, That is what he called as Buddha, Christ, or Krishna consciousness, isn't it? So as we live in gratitude, which is one of the very high vibrations, the cells in our body are always in gratitude. If we even look at it from a very layman space, it's that I'm always thankful for something in life. When will I be thankful? When I feel I'm always receiving, I'm always abundant, I'm always fulfilled, only then I will be in gratitude, isn't it? If I'm living in fear and anxiety, it's like all the time I'm going to be in the low vibration. I cannot be living in gratitude. So when I start living with gratitude, and every day I just keep saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for everything in life, whatever might be happening, then you understand that, you know, that is the space which is the highest that you can live with in this physical body. And then what does the universe hear from you? Always hears thank you. So always keeps giving you the same. That's the law of attraction. You live with gratitude and you receive more to be grateful for. Yes, Divya?
Namaste, Siddhartha
Namaste.
ji. The last thing you said was something that has resonated the most with me. And I think I have the issue of consistency because I get dejected.
Mhm.
And lately, not that everyone has problems, I'm not unique and I understand that. But I don't seem to be able to get out of that mode of feeling the fear and going into that gratitude space because I'm dealing with something which is, I know that everything and anything is possible in theory. I know that. And I know in reality also it's possible. Maybe not, I'm not doing, I'm the one, I'm the problem. I realize that. But it's like I'm having to escape a few things to the extent I'm having to divert my mind doing weird things even when I'm awake and I'm asleep, that thing doesn't seem to leave my mind because I can't seem to find a solution to it. It's major paperwork that has got messed up, and it can have far reaching effects. And I was not even aware that it's been messed up, but it has its effects on me. So even though I'm trying my best, and I'm not, don't think I'm trying spiritually enough, maybe I'm just trying as in, intellectually or whatever. So I know that I'm all the time in this low vibration these days, and it's affecting all areas of my life, including my health. So I really don't know how to get out of it, and I seem to come back to that same circle. So I don't seem I'm doing the right thing for sure. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah, it's not about doing the right thing, and I understand a lot of times we get caught in a loop, in this we get caught in this whole circle and this loop of taking two steps ahead and then something pushes us down. But that's when you need to hang on to, because maybe that is the way your journey is at the moment. But I would say, if by going into, say, grief and feeling helpless and connect getting into the low vibration will help you to deal with the paperwork or whatever you need to do, then by all means one would say, okay, go there, stay there. But if it is not so, then we need to just step out of it and say, okay, let's just pray and trust, even if things are not happening in your favor. There's By being in fear, you're not going to get the work done. It'll happen when it is meant to happen. But during that course of time, can you be in trust? That's all that I'm saying. Just pray that I don't know how this is going to be solved. So just put it out to the highest source who can give you a solution. Just pray, just meditate, just say, God, just show me the way. I'm just totally helpless. And then just trust. And it may be a very, very hard time. I totally understand. And I believe each word that you're saying. But then just ask for the strength to go through that hard time, because invariably it is meant to be such that we are calling it hard because it is totally not in favor of what I had perceived or thought it to be. That's why it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just that, when you so beautifully said during our conversation right now that do you trust yourself? And I do believe I don't, because I
Mm-hmm.
seem to have failed myself more often than not. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
you have been very kind in the past, and I can openly say it in the forum also. I still haven't been able to give you back what I meant to. I mean, the universe has its ways. And, I seem to keep failing myself. And I've gone to many doors knocking, tried many things, and I know that there is something I'm doing wrong. And I've been doing it, I guess, forever. And it's not just at the moment. I don't think it's an at the moment thing for me. I could be completely wrong about this. I seen 4 decades of my life, and I think I've just been doing the same thing.
So then that's what you need to change, isn't it? That's just what we were talking about, that's what you need to change. So seek guidance, not to overcome this, but just to break through this pattern, just to seek guidance as to, or if you need to go through it with full surrender and trust that if this is the course of my life, then I trust you, God, just help me to go through it. Just give me the strength, the courage, whatever. And then just sit back with that trust. Believe me, you've gone knocking on various doors. You don't need to knock so many doors. Just knock on that one door and say, I don't know which door needs to be opened. You have to open the door. Pray to whoever you believe in, and just be in trust, even if things just don't happen like this. Just pray and trust, because in any case, what you're going through, you will still be going through, isn't it?
Actually, I don't have the energy anymore to go through it
It's
only.
okay. Then don't, like, see,
And
you don't have the energy, then there's really nothing that you need to do. Just sit back and allow things to unfold. Just be in like a
every
prayer.
time I even try and engage with it to solve it, it just makes me more worried and have more
So don't
repercussions.
do it. Exactly. That's what, so don't do it. That's what exactly that I'm saying. Don't do it. Just pray. Just say, show me the way, and that's it. And when you know that you'll be given the guidance, just trust, just hold on. Don't get desperate about it. Don't think it's time bound. It has to happen. Otherwise, it'll have, very serious consequences. That's all living in the future, and things that have happened in the past, in the way the 4 generations. I mean, that's all about the past. Just stop. Just stop where you are right now. Just stop where you are right now, and then just let yourself be. Just let yourself be where you are. Don't struggle till you feel very sure of how you need to move ahead. Let's be in that, let's be in that space and see. Don't try to do more, because you've done enough. And if you need to focus on the past, then focus on things that you felt good about, like the picture that you have on your screen. Focus on these things. If you really have to put in energy in something on the past, see all that you have accomplished, which may mean nothing to you, but so much at that moment when you accomplished certain things. Just let yourself be. Just let yourself be. Shift your focus. Just shift your focus. And just know it's happening. Something is happening. Remember that one thing, when you put milk to boil, you feel nothing is happening. You look at it, nothing is happening, and suddenly it boils over, isn't it? So know that something is happening. God has his or her
Okay.
own plans. Just trust and be in that space.
So no more effort on at this end in terms of trying to do something.
Only effort in praying and remembering all that you have accomplished. Just do it for the next 2 days and tell us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Because
Ho'oponopono
it's
prayer
really
is also
affected
so
me
powerful.
physically very
Absolutely.
bad. Physically,
But
it's had such a repercussion.
it's
Yesterday, I
okay.
got
It is what it is. We totally believe and trust you, and we are sending you healing, as you had asked on the group also. So I totally agree, but don't keep repeating and going back into it. It is what it is, isn't it?
Thank you. That's
Thank you.
really nice.
Thank you. Yes, Vanita. Yeah, Ho'oponopono prayer also helps. Anything helps, but just be in silence and just be in a meditative mode, because you've really come to a dead end, isn't it? So some way will definitely open. 100% it will open.
See, that actually comes when really there is a surrender and trust. That's what I always feel. That's been my experience of being with you for more than a decade. And, the moment we start struggling with, time, this should happen in this time. Why is this happening? Like, you often talked about going downstream is easier than
Yeah,
we are actually, going upstream. So I think that's where we go wrong, is that's my personal experience when, you just have to take it easy and see what unfolds. That's
absolutely.
like,
Absolutely.
and then your voice gets right here in my ears. So I'm like, okay, it's happening.
Absolutely. It is happening. I have no doubt it is happening. So let's all today, let's all just pray. Let's pray for Divya. Let's hold Divya in our prayers, and anyone else whom we wish to. I know I had said that we would do a meditation, but actually I can't do the meditation now because I have to reach somewhere urgently. So we will put up a full moon meditation on the group today. We will share it on the WhatsApp group, and anybody who doesn't get it and wants to do it, just reach out to Vinita, Srishti, Tanvi, me, and we'll forward it to you. But let's take a few minutes to just pray for Divya together, right? And we know that today is the full moon. It's a very, very powerful full moon, and it's a full moon to really let go of things that don't serve us and open ourselves to receiving or manifesting what we want to. So just close your eyes, come into a nice little prayerful mode, prayerful attitude, prayerful posture. Connect to your breath and invoke all our guides, masters, angels, teachers, gurus, that source where everything is present, everything is true. Any deity that you strongly connect to those vibrations. Sai Baba, Jesus, Allah, Guru Nanak, Devi, whatever you connect to. And then let's connect to Divya's energy and anyone whom we wish to hold in our group, in our prayer. We know Vani is there in our group, another Vani and Arun, who are going through tremendous challenges. She's a part of our Reiki group, and we're holding Vani, Arun, and Seher in our prayers. And anyone else who wishes to, just take the name of whomever you wish to pray for, your family, your loved ones. Just hold them in this light and visualize this beautiful full moon, which you will see tonight, or maybe seeing right now. And bring in any one challenge that you might be facing or you might be wanting to get out of or are feeling stuck with, caught with. Could be a court case, a court date, or something legal, something in your health, something in your relationship. Just bring in that challenge, the energy of that challenge, not looking at it as a challenge, but really looking at it as something which you really want to outgrow because you feel it is hindering your journey, your growth. But know that this challenge, this situation that you are stuck with at this time is not going to stop you from connecting to God consciousness or to the source or to the Shakti that you hold within. The energy of the moon too is feminine. And let's connect to that Shakti within all of us, becoming one big, huge energy ball of light. We know that wherever there is light, darkness cannot stay there. So let's ask this light to gently make its way through, clearing those paths for all of us and all those whom we hold in our prayers. Just say, just pray, God, universe, open up this path, clear up this path, show me the light, show me the way ahead. And see this light moving through those challenges, those people. See this light covering them, protecting them, healing them, be it our children, be it our parents, even be it somebody who's seemingly putting those obstacles in your path right now. Let's ask this light to heal them, to melt their hearts, help us to forgive them, heal their challenges that is making them live in this constricted way. Help them to connect to the God consciousness and the Shakti within them. And help us to live with full trust with whatever God is offering us at this moment, knowing that this power, this Shakti, this strength within us and it exists in each one of us, is always supporting us. The universe always has your back. Just know that you have that support behind you, and just know that whenever you feel you're falling, just lean back and feel that support behind you. See this beautiful light of the full moon, which is definitely there. You may not be able to see it right now, but it is definitely showering its blessings on you. And then, with full trust, know that this will help you to find your way ahead. Just know, I always like to say this, just know that you are a special child of God, special child of the universe. And you're so special that you're praying here for yourself and others. How blessed are you? And holding Divya, especially in our prayers, in our heart, to show her the light and so many others who need it too. And knowing that and trusting that, being in gratitude to the beautiful elements all around who make this life possible for us. Take a nice deep breath and thank the universe for allowing you to be a channel, to allowing you to pray, to understand and operate from this expansive state of only love and power. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you.